We have members from Worcester. We have members that come from New Hampshire. So we have members from all over the place. And so the vision and the goal of our establishment is to actually go down the Route 2 corridor and plant facilities and churches leading up into Boston. So our goal is to hopefully inevitably make our way and have more of a footprint in the city, but right now we're just coming to give back to the people.
Right now in Boston
Fitchburg.
and Fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much.
Well, the good thing that they ask all the questions that you don't have to, it's not gonna be asked again. So,
Yeah.
because you do need to come back to our next city council meeting, which
Okay.
is gonna be when, Councilor President?
Madam Chair, that would be June 6th.
June 6th.
June 6th.
So,
okay.
let me call for a motion. I'm looking for a motion. Councilor President?
I'll make a motion that we send this document up to the full council with a favorable recommendation,
So move.
pending all the, we have all the I haven't seen the stuff. Is there all
Yeah,
the
no.
stuff's there?
No, everything is all
Okay,
set.
thank
Yep.
you.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you for being here, and you need to come back to our next city council meeting, which is gonna be June 6th.
June 6th, same time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
He's leaving? We don't have a quorum right now.
Next document is can I get a motion to take document 15923 out of order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Document 15923 is More Than Concourse Campaign Common on from 3 to 8 p.m. June 10. It has been put in the agenda by Jeffrey Webson. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you today?
Name and address for the record.
So my name is Jeff Watson, and my address is 108 Haywood Road, Sterling, Massachusetts.
The floor is yours. Just tell us a little bit more about your event.
Yep, so it's funny that she was just up here because that's what I do. I founded a ministry, and we go to cities all around New England. And when we go to cities, we actually go and we help with, we have like care bags, we help the homeless, we minister to them. This particular event, we will have music, we will have free food, and the food's not, we don't make it, so we're not bringing the sandwiches, but like usually it's Chick-fil-A. They usually donate sandwiches for us, and then we have, waters and sodas like that we hand out as we do the event. And the reason why I'm in Lawrence is because I'm partnering with Merrimack Valley Dream Center with Julio Moran. So that Dream Center was birthed out of a ministry that I used to come up here before, and I used to walk the streets. And so that's really where my ministry is. I like to walk the streets and help people and get them help if they need it to get, drug addiction or whatever that might be. I'm sorry, my phone's going off. I apologize. So that came out of, the birth out of Merrimack Valley Dream Center. And so we're partnering with them, and that's why we decided to come up here to Lawrence.
Now, I'm the one who's going to be asking all the questions, because
Okay.
that is going to be happening in my district.
Okay.
The paper seems to be all in orders. I know that you're going to be using, the park.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say, that has nothing to do with what you're planning on doing, but you cannot park vehicle inside of the park. That's one.
Okay.
You need to leave the park in better condition than what you find it, cleaner, if it's possible.
Absolutely.
You're going to have a speaker, you say you're going to have some music.
Yeah, we're
It
gonna,
needs to be taught to your group, not to the public, only because people who's not in, they feel like it, I don't want to be hearing music and on all of that.
okay.
So I do not have any more question. I'm just going to open the floor in case that any other counselor has any questions. None?
I feel like I can't ask any questions now.
Well, I didn't when was in your district, so let me call the motion because I didn't.
That's what I mean.
So,
Motion to approve.
Motion to send it with
And send
favorable
it with-
recommendation?
To the full council.
Yes?
Second?
Okay. You better second it, because I did second yours. Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. You do need to come back to our next city council meeting, which is going to be June 6th. Thank you for doing that. Well appreciated. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
You as well. Next document is document 16223. Can I get a motion to take document 16223 out of order?
Second.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 16223, Summer Resources Fair, Campanile Common from 11 a.m. through 3 p.m. and it's going to be on June 24. Has been put on the agenda by Carmen Gonzalez. Carmen, it's your turn. Just tell us a little bit what you're going to do, if this is going to be the first time. Name and address for the record.
Okay, so my name is Carmen Gonzalez, and the address of the agency is 370 Merrimack Street, South Lawrence, Mass., second floor. So, like I said, I'm Carmen Gonzalez. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for Better Life Home Care, and our agency wanted to do a summer fair. It's almost mimicking the two fairs, the two events that kind of came up in front of me. This is our original first time doing this fair. We have participated in other events in Lawrence, but this is our initial first fair that we are kind of setting up. But we have participated in other people's fair, if I can say. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous because it's my first time.
No worries.
But we, our office has the main office in Springfield. We just did a job fair over there May 17, and it's almost like mimicking the same event here in Lawrence. We want to bring out to the community of Lawrence resources. I know that throughout the pandemic back in 2020, it left a lot of families, unsure of the aftermath of COVID-19, and we just wanted to let everybody know all the resources that are out there for the community. So we're doing something a little bit different. There's not going to be no live music because we were reading all the do's and don'ts of the events, but there is going to be exhibits tables with information. So we have gotten Fallen and CCA Community Care Alliance to kind of participate with us in this event so that we can give out information to the people, resources, if they're missing insurance, if they're missing information about housing, if they're missing information about, places or resources that they can end up looking up to the community. We want to be able to have enough agencies there so that people could go to each table and kind of see the resources that are for the community.
So, since you're not any music with speakers, so the only thing I'm going to tell you is that you cannot leave vehicle park inside of the park. You need to park it outside, and if that is a good time for you to set it up and clean after, because this is our recommendation, parking needs to be, leave it in the better condition than how you find it, or the same condition you find it. Question? No, this is on my district. Motion to,
I'm an open book.
I'll make a motion to send this up to the full council with favorable recommendation and discussion afterwards.
Okay.
what do you mean discussion? You can answer the question. Okay, so,
Second.
Madam Chair, through you, so I wanted to ask the other folks, but I'll ask you this question. Have you, the mission and what you're trying to accomplish is very noble, and I applaud you for your interest and involvement, and I know it's not easy to come before us and speak like you're doing, so good for you for doing that. I'm just curious, this has nothing to do with whether or not we issue the permit or not, but have you considered working or partnering with other organizations that have a similar goals and missions that you have?
We have. So I bring in our flyer from the Springfield area, but most of the sponsorships that are in this flyer are kind of be sponsoring, they're going to be sponsoring also here if we do get the approval. So it's a lot of sponsorships, a lot of agencies that are going to be involved in helping.
So I misstated my question. So there's a lot of local organizations that might have a similar goal or mission that you have in Lawrence, not in Springfield or other places. And sometimes what I'm seeing, and maybe my colleagues agree with me, we see a lot of duplication. Whether it's we saw it already,
Yes.
2 churches or doing 2 things, and we're not saying there's not a need. There's a need, all that, and we're not going to deny it because it's duplicative. But sometimes I wonder whether or not the resources, because there's only so much money, and there's only so many volunteers. And I'm just wondering sometimes if organizations such as yours are partnering with existing organizations and say, listen, we have this thing, we can bring some stuff to the table, we would like to do this, can we partner with you on that? And you already have a ready-made group of other individuals, and sometimes it takes that redundancy out of the question. And it's probably a longer question, and I'm sorry about that, Madam Chair, but I think sometimes we have to ask our folks, like yourselves, who have the best of intentions, whether or not they've explored other possibilities to get to where you want to get, which is to educate, provide resources to our community.
I answer that? I sent out 76 emails to partnering agencies in Lawrence, but because I don't have a set date, like I don't have the approval yet, I said, in the midst of the approval, we have this resource fair. So we are partnering, we're getting a lot of emails, feedbacks, back stating if we get the date, there's going to be so many Lawrence offices that are going to be attending the job fair, and that's what we're trying to do, minimize, but also unite everybody so that everybody has, if somebody comes to my agency and asks, hey, I have this question, this need for this, I know exactly who to pinpoint them to, what other agency can assist. So that's what we're trying to have a community fair so that everybody's involved and everybody gets to know each other and what their mission is and what they bring to the city of Lawrence.
Madam Chair, I'll relinquish the floor, but that gentleman that just walked in the door with the tie, looks very sharp. Before you leave today, I want you to talk to that gentleman. His name is Mr. Spanner.
Okay.
One of his primary motives in the mayor's office is to really help our businesses in our city. Please get in contact with him.
Okay.
He may have some ideas on how to make your event even more successful.
Okay, thank you.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. And you do need to come back for our next city council meeting on June 6th.
Thank you so much.
Next document is document 16123. Can I get a motion to take document 16123 out of order? Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 16123 is a yoga in the park, Campaign Common, Saturday, from Saturdays noon through 1, starting on June 10 through September 30. It has been put on the agenda by Barbara Maffier. Name and address. I know that we were waiting for you just to kind of see when the classes is going to start, so just,
Yeah, so I'm Barbara
My
Maffeo,
part.
and the yoga studio is at 290 Merrimack Street, right here in Lawrence. And we did the classes last summer. Last summer was our first time that we officially came and did classes, remember? So we're trying to do everything legitimately. And it was suggested that we start June 10th because of the second meeting that I need. We were going to start the Saturday before, but in order to be approved, I knew, Eileen told me we'd have to come back to a second meeting. So she asked us to bump it off until June 10th. So when we come, we learned from last year, people don't even have to bring a mat. We bring a huge tarp. We have a couple huge tarps that we'll bring, we just spread them out. And our best location, last year there was more foot traffic over near the little playground. So even we got a lot of kids that came to class, and some of the parents would come over. So we're hoping to find better ways to even advertise the class this summer. Once we get approved, we'll certainly start to advertise more. Actually, I think Eileen has already sent it up on her Facebook page, assuming that you're all going to say yes, of course. But I haven't done that yet, because I wanted to make sure we're all set.
Okay, I know Councilor President want to ask a question. He's the one has the, I'm gonna, since you are located at his district, I'm gonna allow him to ask the question, because I'm very familiar with what you're planning on doing.
Sure.
How successful were you last year? I know we talked about last year. I think last year was your first time?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, what's your expectations? What happened last year, and how do you expect this year?
So when we first started last year, we applied in, because I think that, I don't know if I filled out the wrong type of application, but it probably looked like I wanted to use the bandstand or the whatever, and they said that wasn't available, so they put us over near the Y, which there was nobody that came there. So we, on our own, took the liberality to move over closer to the little playground, and actually, I'd just go into the playground and invite parents and kids, and one of my students actually came with me. And so then I felt there were regulars that came to class. So I feel like this year we'll put a little more energy into advertising, whether it be on Facebook, even we'll put it up on Eventbrite, we'll have it on our website, we'll have it on our Google My Business page. And so hopefully, the more people see us, I feel like then they'll get used to what are we doing here? What are we really doing? It was really kind of fun. We had a good time with it. And the people that came, we have 4 YouTube channels. So usually we bring up a little business card and we hand out the YouTube channels, which are free. They have lots of great little videos for anxiety or if people have sleep issues. And so there's certainly many things we can share with people in the community, even if it's not taking a full class.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Which class are you gonna be taking?
The most easy.
So the one that you can sleep at night?
If I can see my toes, it's just a success.
So, do you file your application online?
Yes.
Oh, you did. So that's why it kind of looked different. I'm going to be taking some of the classes. I really need, I think, all of them. So starting from June 10th.
June 10th, and then we'll go, obviously, weather permitting. I think last year, when it came mid-September, then we actually we came back again and applied and went into October. It'll depend on what the weather's like, though.
Okay. Motion, Councilor, is,
I'd like to make a motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. So you know the rules, right?
Yeah,
He
I'll
needs to
see
come
you
back.
on the June 6th.
He needs to see you since he's going to be councilor president that day. He's probably going to ask more questions, so
I'm used to
that's
them
why
now.
I'm kind of limiting him now. But thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you are doing.
Thank you
Well
for
needed
having-
in our
yeah,
community.
great. We'll see you there.
So, of course, you're going to see me, yes.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay, one more, and then we're going to be taken out of. Can I get a motion to take document 16423 out of order?
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 16423 is a Dia de Clamor a Dios Campanut Common from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., September 2nd. It has been put on agenda by Maribel Maldonado.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Maribel Maldonado, 6 de la Home Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Yeah. What is the street?
6 Home Street, my address, 6
Yeah.
Home.
Home Street?
Yeah,
Home, like a home.
Yeah, Home Street. Okay.
Hi, my name is Dorcas Burke, and I am Maribel's daughter, and I am an active member of the church. I'm here for translation purposes, just in case.
Okay, so are you familiar what they are planning on doing? So you can tell us. She doesn't really have to talk if you want to do that. So, this is the first time that you're gonna do that?
No, es la segunda vez, el año pasado lo hicimos también,
Okay.
Second time, they did it last year.
Or you did it last year?
pero lo hicimos en el parque de la South Union.
They did it at the park of the South, on South Union Street, in front of Pronto Pizza. That's the
Oh.
park that was used. last year.
Okay. Oh, I see. So it's only going to be on September 2nd?
It's a one-day event.
It's a one-day event. Okay, so same rules? You're going to have a speaker?
Sí.
Okay?
Vamos a
So
hacer un
no
pequeño
vehicle
servicio.
parking inside of the park? No speaker turn to the public? It have to be concentrated only to the group? And believe me, I love, religion and all of that, but some others, they don't want to be.
Disturbed, we
Yeah.
understand.
So I do not have any questions, so I'm sure that no one, can I get a motion to send it?
You want me to do it? Sure. Motion to send it to the full council with favor recommendations.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Rules, you need to come back to our next city council meeting, which is going to be June 6th at 7. Same channel, same location.
We will be
Thank
here.
you. Same
God
time.
bless you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you. So we're going to be having a couple of table item, and the first one, we have our lovely city attorney. What would it be, the first one, since that we have Mr. Guzman? And so what would it be, that item first?
You want Mr. Guzman first, is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I can do him first. He's,
Okay, those would be 335 of 22 and 336 of 22.
35 and 336, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And just for council president's edification, Home Street is by Swan Street, East Street, right on the border of the village.
wow. Can't believe it, that is part of my district. I didn't know. Okay, so can I get a motion to take document 335 and 336 as a block and out of table?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're going to start with 335, resolution to elect Lawrence School Committee. Has been put on the agenda by Vice Chair Jonathan Guzman. Mr. Hooton.
Yes, just for the record, just my involvement in this is that on both of these, I'm looking at the legality of these. I'm not a proponent, I'm not an opponent of either of these. I just will put them into language which I think are acceptable. On 335, there are two versions, and I believe everybody has one. If you don't have it, I'm going to give it to you. So what you have is you have a red line version and a non-red line version. The non-red line version is my version. Mr. Guzman wanted more language in there, so his is with the red language in it, so that's the only difference. I felt that the language was superfluous, that it was more of an order. This is a resolution, we're not ordering anybody, so it's really up to the board what you wish to do, so you can review both of those and see which the board is comfortable with. But again, this is just a resolution. The resolution regards the city, regarding the school committee and the receiver. I felt that the additional language is more of a demand, which I don't think that's part of a resolution. A resolution is, here's what we feel, here's what we say, but I leave that up to the board. Again, I just put it in legal language. I make no proposal or opposal, I believe.
Since it is a resolution, and I think I heard you saying that this is going to be completely up to the board who they want and wish to elect. So what you are providing us is the legal language, the final draft that we usually send it up for your recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one without the red is what my recommendation would be.
With one without the red.
Without the red.
Councilor President. Oh, you got it. Okay. Question. I did my question. I did. I sat with the city attorney. He can confirm that. We was looking for information just to kind of push this up and move out of this committee. And he gave me exactly what he said was exactly what he wrote and then put it in paper. So that's why I opened the floor. If you have any question, now that Mr. Guzman is present.
Yeah, you'll excuse me, Council President, in that fact that I met with both councilors and went over both this in detail because they were on the committee. I did not. So I apologize that I have not gone over it with you. I did not know you were on the board at that time.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just, there's a lot to digest here. I don't have the luxury of my colleagues of having had a chance to have this kind of conversation that they had. So there's stuff here that I need to digest. I think resolutions are important, Madam Chair. I think that they, or else we would not have been asked to do something. So apparently I'm not the only one that believes resolutions are important, because it says to whoever is out there what our voice is on it. And we may not agree with everything, but there's an element here that is supportive. My comments regarding the schools are, I've told to whoever will listen to them. And I don't know how I'm going to vote on this, because I'm kind of, part of this is a little unfair to having to try to digest within a matter of seconds all that's on here and try to have a vote this evening. I do understand that the petitioner would like to see this happen as soon as possible, so I understand there's that dynamic that's in play. I'll be very candid. My position has been throughout this entire process, ever since there's been a takeover of the schools, was that I have enough, frankly, as a city councilor on my plate to deal with non-scholastic issues. And that and I hate to put the chair in this, but the chair is in this position now. This is really a state issue and not a local city council issue. And so whoever would listen, I would say, talk to your legislators, talk to your delegations, and there have been several people that have been in those positions, because those are the people who talk to DESE and have the budget control over that stuff, and that's the place to go for these kinds of changes. And because I take this so seriously, I really, not that I'm looking to duck, because I'm very candid about my position regarding our place, but if I'm going to be putting my vote on something like this, I better make sure that I'm all on board on it. And right now, having essentially, I wasn't supposed to be here tonight, as you know, Madam Chair. I am here only because if I wasn't here, we wouldn't have a meeting. And so and it was only about 2 minutes before 7 o'clock that I realized that I was needed to be here. And so I wasn't intending on being here tonight. I'm not comfortable this evening, to be in absolute candor, to vote on this evening. I'm not.
Okay.
I will, however, need to be, if this thing moves up, I will need to be more informed. And of course, I will not be able to give my opinion at the full council level if I'm at the chair. So there's a lot of competing elements here. So I'll leave you with that as I try to figure out how to proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, we just need to be mindful that we are three, and I cannot make the motion. And if you not feel comfortable, while we were waiting for the city attorney, I think then we have to table, because how am I gonna move this up?
Good evening, councilors. Jonathan Guzman, Vice Chair of the Lawrence School Committee. Always welcome the honesty during conversations and being able to enter into these conversations within governance in our city. This particular item been in the city council since September 2022. So the conversations and the dilemma and the information has been provided since 2022. So as the attorney mentioned, this is just an opinion. The opinion based on this resolution is that this body supports an elected school committee, right, as our charter said. It's an opinion calling upon particular pieces within the law. 2, which is the one that enacted back in 2010, and where it was a child no left behind, right? And that particular law created it codified 2 particular extra laws, right? 69 1K 1J, which is the receivership law. And one of them also furthermore dictated under chapter of the Acts of 2010, chapter 12, which explains specifically what a receiver is under the law, right? Again, this is information that has been provided. What we're asking, and part of the red letters that we submitted back, was to ensure that the direct information of what year it was, what particular subsections of the law explain, where we're gathering our information from, and also where this should go, right? Rather than ordering this body or anybody to do anything, what this is, to our interpretation, it's just urging the communication to go out to specific offices as conversations are happening. Hearing President LaPlante's piece of where this lies, you know, we are within our communication or our edits, communication will go to our delegation with this resolution. This is moral support from our governing body. This is a city council issue. This is our schools. You know, a budget is given by city. When there is a concern based on a law, or if there's some conversations, right? We have this body has the resources that we don't have. So we look at our counselors to look at our ordinance, right, and our city charter, which is the part of the elected school committee because it's under the city charter that got approved by the legislators years ago, right? But that conversation began here.
And we understand that. I believe that what Councilor President was trying to explain is the final draft that has been sent out to us. He didn't have a chance to read it before because he's not part of this committee. He was not even supposed to be in this meeting, and I understand your frustration because has been sitting here for such a long time. I know that you want to move this up. But since he's not going to be able to vote this time, at least you don't have to wait until someone send any documentation down. The purpose that I'm going to be calling to table the document is until we see the full body that they can make a motion, because I can't. As a chair, I can't support the motion. I only call the motion. So I think we are going to be better off just to table into our next meeting. We don't have to weigh in, just to kind of alert and let everybody know that we need to be ready to move this item up. So can I get a motion to table document 33522?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Aye.
336. We just discussed 335, now it's 336. Both item has been taken out of table.
Sure. 33622, you have nothing from me because this is a budgetary request. It has a request that the transfer the Lawrence School Committee budget from Lawrence Public Schools to the City of Lawrence, or it's requesting financial records. In discussion, I have spoken to the school committee, I've spoken to the school department, who will not put this into their budget for next year. I've spoken to the mayor's office. The mayor will not put this into the budget for the next year. So that's where it's being opposed by both of those. So it's a money request to pay the school committee while there is still a receiver. So all I'm conveying is the information I received from both the school and from the mayor's office is they oppose this.
So this particular change within the charter is more than just paying the school committee, rather creating the resources that we need. As you all know, under the receiver law, we're still subject to the open meeting law. There's a particular information provided to this council to provide a confidential secretary that we're able to act upon any requests that we need to abide by. Still the law today, you know, bringing it back to how this body is still involved in this process. And it breaks down into different areas and where it hasn't been done in other spaces within the Commonwealth. And where usually what you see is that the budget of the school committee lies under the particular school, and where the school committee is able to create a budget and put it into effect under the superintendent. In this fact, and where we're under receivership, the law doesn't allow you as a body to request or do anything that is budget, right? Meaning a secretary. We are unable to pay for a secretary. We're unable to hire a secretary because this needs to go through the superintendent of the schools. And we're not allowed to tell the superintendent by the law to do the day-by-day, right? Like appoint a secretary. In the beginning, we had one, Jones Malone, I think it is. And fortunately, communication stopped, right? Indication that the appointed secretary is no longer an appointed secretary to do our work and support us on the day-by-day that we're doing. What we have proposed is a restructure and ask to this body and to the attorney, are we able to pull and create a governing space under the budget, right? Does this mean that we need to change the charter and where the specific language on where we lie? As you know, when you do the budget, we looked at the budget and we were like, oh, there's a governing piece within the budget that covers the mayor's office and the city council. We are a governing body, so why we're subject to the open meeting law. And at that piece, can we be on that space as well? And where we have a budget allocated knowingly that the mayor's office has to provide it, right? I believe that we also knew the opposition that was coming, but we wanted to definitely have a structure that makes sense where we are right now and moving forward. And at the same time, the creation and the recommendations that we were to provide of what that job description would look like, right? What is the money or the resources or funding that we will need in order to do what we need to do to provide the resources, the conversations that we need to have with parents, with teachers, with the district. Do you guys, this body understand the point that we have nothing for professional development? So when we have this conversation about are we ready as a school committee both the state, the commissioner, and here at the local level have failed to provide what we need for professional development. I just came from a national convention. I was lucky because they heard what I'm telling you, and they supplied everything. For I can go in and do professional development, nonpartisan, with school committee Latinos from across the nation to be able to educate myself, furthering their practices across the state, the nation. You know, we don't have that. the Massachusetts Association of School Committee, you need to pay dues. We're lucky that we are able to work with the executive, right? So what we're asking is, the law is clear. Any resources under LPS, we are unable to ask for it. It is under the control of the superintendent, and the superintendent decides, right? Clearly you heard that the Lawrence Public School System doesn't even want to entertain this conversation. Clearly you heard that the mayor of Lawrence, unfortunately, the mayor office, and Octavian is here. Hopefully he can expand on it if he wish. But that is not in the moment supporting these efforts, right? We went into conversations on, like, if we are able to accomplish at least a secretary, right? How do we know that that is always going to be there? How do we make sure that we're able to have the conversations, and every year we're going to have somebody that's going to be able to help us on a day-by-day through our meetings and our conversations and our implementation of the work that we're doing? There's a lot happening in the background, and where we are taking from our resources that we have in order to accomplish those, right? And I bring it back to, you know, there's a conversation that the school committee is not ready. It is not the school committee's fault for not being ready. This structure is not capable. I, as the vice chair, current vice chair, have developed a structure, have pushed for a structure.
Any question?
So, I'm sorry, I don't have the documents. What is currently before this committee at this point? So is it, I mean, is it I don't, I have an agenda, but is it a request that there's specific funding to provide the kind of both administrative relief and services to the school committee, as well as professional development, with the goal of providing them the pathway to becoming a viable local control? Is this what this, am I going down the right path here?
If I may, maybe I could
Please.
read it to you quickly. It's a request to transfer Lawrence School Committee budget from the Lawrence Public Schools and create a budget line for the school committee under the City of Lawrence budget as the city council. A school committee part-time secretary, create a school committee part-time secretary position with 30 hours per month at an hourly rate of $25 an hour, requiring a budget of $9,000, 4 hours of meeting time per month, 6 hours of subcommittee time per month, and 20 hours of administrative support. Provide $6,000 yearly as expense account. Such allowance can allow the school committee to host but not be limited to events such as educational forums and to form or support educational reform coalition groups. And a monthly elected school committee stipend of $500, which will require a budget of $36,000. It will assist school committee members in covering expenses but not limited to gas, virtual meeting, internet, cellular data, childcare, alimentation, which I'm sorry, I didn't know what that were, and much more. So it comes down to a money. Basically what they want to do is remove the school committee from under the auspices of the school and put it under the auspices of the city.
Now, just so I'm clear, I don't have my ordinance book here either. Well, just so I'm clear, there is an ordinance that deals with reorganizations, and this sounds like a reorganization of some sort, while removing some of either the monies and creating positions or funding positions and moving it from one place to another, whether it's planning, whether it's, I'm trying to think of what reorgs we've dealt with recently, Board of Health stuff, or the comptroller slash the CAFO. There was a bunch of reorgs. Every time we've had a reorganization, big and small, that was considered a reorg, which goes through that. This sounds like there's a movement or a request for reorganization. And if that's the case, I mean, let's call it what it is. And with that comes, in our ordinance book, it goes into great specificity, through you, Madam Chair, of what a reorganization does. It's unlike any other ordinance. A reorg has dates, and you have to get things done by a certain time, and there are certain elements and public hearings, and there are certain things for any reorg, which we have done before, and that the administration is looking to do reorgs again. And I've said to the great consternation of my good friends in the mayor's office, that smells and looks like a reorg. You got to go through a reorg on that. You just can't be moving positions without going through a reorg. And I was candid with the mayor's office about that, and I've got to be candid here as well. If this looks like it's got to be dealt with in that way. So I don't know what that means for us now, but it seems like a pretty big hurdle if you don't get the mayor on board on a reorg. And I don't know who, I don't have the ordinance here. I don't know if we can do it unilaterally. I know that the school committee can't send it to us and do a reorg. I don't know if the mayor's the exclusive authority. I don't have the command of that ordinance, right? But anyway.
Yeah, I did not go into that depth. Once I received the information from both the school and the mayor, it made no sense to dig deeper. If it's not being proposed, then whether you call it a reorg or a change in an ordinance, it's being opposed by the party.
I just want to say this, and I'll relinquish the floor through you, Madam Chair. I get, and this may sound kind of weird, I get the frustration. I get the frustration that the vice chair has, that he's expressed not only publicly, but to me personally and privately. I get it, because let me just put my oar in the water, Madam Chair. I want to see local control. I want to see the people in my neighborhood being able to vote for someone who's going to represent them on their school committee. I think that's where we need to go and need to be. I don't know about the timing. I can't speak to you about that. I hear from the vice chair the concerns regarding a lot of different things, being able to function. I hear the concerns regarding the kind of instruction and professional development that needs to take place, so that when the keys to the kingdom are handed over, whenever that is, that they are ready to hit the ground running. I mean, conceptually, that just makes a lot of sense to me, right? I mean, how can I not be supportive of that, right? I guess my earlier comment about the devil's in the details, I'll need to give the required consideration that this deserves on the previous document, and on this one, I just think we need to be forthright in the process. And that sounds like a blockage, and I don't mean it to be. But if I'm going to put a block on the mayor on stuff, at least procedurally, I've got to do the same thing here. I can't be saying, we got to be as consistent as we can on these things. So I think it's worthy of a discussion, I believe, but I don't know how. Again, I'm handicapped by not having the stuff here. I just want to share that with you, Madam Chair. I don't have an end result. I'm so sorry about that.
But again, Mr. Spanner, you want to wish and speak on that, because we definitely have to make a decision whether to table or withdraw.
The mayor, in discussions which we already had, and we also had with the school, the Lawrence Public School superintendent, and also DESI, and the commissioner, there's no need now. There's no need for us to do it. We don't know the role. To have someone to pay it in a very tight budget that we have right now, the mayor is not in favor. We are going through a transition process. We have consultants that are going to meet. I believe they're going to do some presentations on the 14th, June 14th. We're speaking with the commissioner, the superintendent, and that's our priority. This is not a priority for us to put in the budget. And also, you're right, Council President, it needs to go through a process. That's the answer.
Counselor, what you wish to do with this item? As I say, I can make a motion.
May I provide some? So just a little feedback. There's been a lot of documentation provided through, and I'm looking at one February 6, 2023, which provided multiple documentations that the school committee was able, one of the subcommittees was able to put together with particular ordinances that we were trying to provide to start this to revise the charter of the city. And the particular letter that came in to be put into the agenda, which was what Mr. Houghton was able to read today, started the conversation, and then we were asked to provide more details of what exactly we wanted, specific details, and we did a presentation which came before you, and we provided also amendments within the city charter. So it was a push on going through this side, right, of following recommendations of where steps we need to take in order to do this. Want to definitely uplift this conversation of the commissioner who keeps speaking to the executive branch about, you know, the powers on receivership, and where in every corner of the receivership law, it clearly states that it's not the executive branch that has conversation with the commission about the receivership, it's the school committee, a public body. And when it comes to this type of conversation of providing the tools, it was on the first turnaround plan, first one, and where the commissioner, who was the receiver back then, agree upon providing the tools to help a school committee become well-rounded. Since then, we saw it once, until we brought that language to him a year ago, right? And push back. So hearing that type of comment that, you know, we don't have the funding, it's not a priority, that just tells you that has never been in any way or form a priority for the state or the commissioner then and now to give our schools back. Because in what right or what mind you think that it's okay for you to give a school back to an unprepared school committee? Think about it. And if you're not providing the resources that you're supposed to, then when are we going to be ready? I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Councilor, open for motion.
Madam Chair, we heard from the administration, we heard from the vice chair. The administration is telling us loud and clear that this is not something that they're looking to engage in. The vice chair of the school committee, I have to give that gentleman a ton of kudos. He is dogged, he is tenacious, he reads, he's persistent, and he's tireless. And my God, I mean, that's, those are impressive traits, right? Is he still here? There he is. So those are impressive traits that bode well for an elected official, right? That kind of energy. I'm hemming and hawing because I'm trying to figure out what direction we want to go in here. So we do have a process, and I hate to get caught up on it. But the request here is substantial. It seems like it's not, but it is, because what we're doing here is we are inserting ourselves into school department-related materials, and our charter, if there's nothing else, is very clear about our roles and about our missions. It has deliberately bifurcated and separated the duties and responsibilities of this city council and the school committee, where we get tripped up oftentimes, is when people say, well, you vote for the budget, but you know, we have to vote, essentially have this as part of this, I have the budget here, as part of this package, because if you don't have the school department into this package, it becomes it's an unbalanced budget. We have all these revenues come in, you gotta say, well, where are you spending it? Well, it's inside this document, so you have to have it. But it doesn't require us to go ahead and say that you know, that the Gilmet School should have X number of dollars, and the Frost School should do this, and headquarters should do that. It doesn't, it's not our role to be going ahead and doing that. We just make sure that the numbers in the budget, revenues, as far as the school's concerned, we have a different obligation outside of the schools. But for the schools is concerned, the budget and the revenues meet the expenditures. And if it meets that stuff, that's where our responsibility begins and our responsibility ends with respect to the school budget. So now we're asking to, and the only reason why I'm saying this is a request to kind of merge and grade the area, where now we're bringing in school stuff onto the city side. And as much as I have already mentioned where I want to see us to the direction I want us to get to this point, where we got a school committee, I'm eager to see maybe some at some point soon, some money, some compensation for the work that they do. I think that's fair, right? So there's elements of this that makes a lot of sense to me. And what the vice chair is saying, there's a lot of those elements make a lot of sense to me. But we're hopping over things, and it's bad precedent. And once you start opening up that box, and I love our colleagues, but we get way too involved in school stuff, and there's a ton of stuff we need to get involved with: police, fire, ISD, libraries, water, sewer, you name it. And that takes up all of our time, to be honest with you. I can't bring the portfolio over to the school side. So where am I going? I'm not supportive of this for that reason. I'm getting to the end result. I'm not supportive of going ahead and moving this forward. There's too many obstacles that are here, both institutionally with the mayor's office and institutionally with our charter. I don't support it. I feel for the gentleman, for the vice chair, because his needs are real. And I don't know how to get to that place where they can function. And I want to get there. And I don't have a solution for that. So with all that, I'm going to make a motion that we send this up. We have two motions I can make. We could kick this can down the road without a recommendation.
Pick one motion just to kind of be clear.
We could have this conversation, and of course, I can't have this conversation in the June 6th. So I'm saying all that I'm saying right now, because I'm not going to say anything more on the 6th, right? Because I'm exhausting it, right, as the chair. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to move this up to the full council without a recommendation, and I'm going to let the 9 of us figure out what it is that we should do on this matter. That's what I think we should do. And quite frankly, if the body decides it's going to go ahead and consider this as a reorganization, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking on that. So anyway, I make a motion we send this up to the full council without a recommendation.
Can I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? Aye. The aye. Okay, I hope that you don't take that long for the next item, please.
I have four items in the table.
Can I get a motion to take document 14823 out of order and out of table?
So move. Yes.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Pat, 14823. You can find it? Okay. 14823 is a disclosure of conflict by municipal employee Juan Alcantara Parking Division. Sir.
It pretty well describes itself. This is the
Yeah.
required disclosure. He had a contract with the business. This is just to close the loops.
Motion to set up the favorable recommendation.
Yep.
Second.
The ayes have it. 100.
145 of 23, Bailey Street, temporary closure.
145. Can I get a motion to take up 145, 23 out of order and out of table?
Second.
Motion has been made properly. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 14523 is a Bailey Street temporary closure. Mr. Hooton?
We have had, in your packet, you have correspondence from the Lawrence Police Department. We have also heard from the Lawrence Fire Department, as well as the temporary or acting city engineer. All are in favor of this.
Okay, I just want to say before we call the motion, that I spoke to Captain Delaney today, and he explained to me that he provide all that information about who's going to be cleaning, when this is snow and all of that. So I have all that information. I know that also has been recommended by the police department, the city engineer, so we good to go. My next question, this is temporary close, and we're not making ordinance. Do we have to order public hearing just because it's gonna be closing, and we don't want to hear like no one has advertised or say anything about it? That's a question for you.
Yes, I believe,
I believe it's yes, but I'm not the
yeah, I
city
believe
attorney.
we do not have to advertise because it's on a temporary basis, because, it's funny, I didn't research that before I came here, because we are not looking to change it on a permanent basis.
Okay, so can I get a motion to send document 145 with favorable recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. What would be your next document?
135 of 23, no parking Concord Street.
Can I get a motion to take document 13523 out of order and out of table?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 13523 is no parking Concord Street, section of Hampshire Street, both side. Mr.
This was presented by the fire chief. This will enable the large trucks to enter the fire station. Right now, they have a very tight turn with because of the fact that we have meters, believe it or not, people are moving and parking behind the fire station, and it's caused a great problem for the trucks. So this has been their request. We've had it reviewed by the police department, and I know that one of the questions by, I believe, one of the counselors was, would it affect residents, and it does not.
Yes, we do need public hearing for
we do.
that one. And can I get a motion to send document 135 with a favor recommendation to order public hearing?
So moved.
I do just want to add that the city engineer also.
Name and address for the record, sir.
Officer Connell, Lawrence Police, 90 Lowell Street.
Thank you, sir, for being here.
Just a note of reference that the city engineer did go by, and he also wrote a document in favor of this proposal document.
Thank you. Councilor President, you have a question. You lean forward like you have a question. I hope not.
I just want to thank our public safety officials for being here during these long hours, Madam Chair. And I really wish that we can move some of these professionals earlier in the meetings.
You have the solution in your hand. You have the budget, so you can increase the budget for them. So that's something that is easy fix. You just mention it. You have the budget book right next to you, so make sure that you put in writing that item land.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for enhancing the city council's power to include more money in the budget, which I didn't think was lawful, but I do appreciate that. I will make a motion that we send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Bring a public hearing.
Public hearing, that's the motion. Yeah, that's part of the motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Pat, you have that one, to order public hearing, right? 135. So, in 145, we don't need to order public hearing. Okay? We good?
Our final item is 137 of 20. One last one. Councilor Rodriguez would kill me if I didn't propose it.
The item number,
137 of 23, a proposed ordinance prohibiting obstruction of sidewalks.
yes, yeah. Can I get a motion to take document 13723 out of order
So
and
moved.
out of table? Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have.
I took a real gamble here because I know that this is someone's baby, and I actually corrected some of the language in it. I hope it gets through, but I did review it. This is appropriate. I would ask that you move it to full council.
Okay, yeah, we do. So motion, I'm looking for a motion to send it with favorable recommendation to order public hearing.
So moved.
It's on the floor. You lose your opportunity to ask the question.
Take a second, and I'm going to ask a question on this. What exactly are we looking to do with this ordinance? We're just,
Nothing, if somebody wants to block a sidewalk, it gives the rules and regulations of what they have to do, what they have to comply with.
So right now, that's up to the police department, so we're taking that authority away from the police department and putting it under the city council, or whose authority is it?
No, that's,
Police are also consulted in this. It expands what we need to do. For instance, they have to comply with certain other regulations provided by the state in order to allow safe travel around, what they have to do for as far as details, et cetera. It was quite comprehensive from the counselor.
No, I appreciate that. And one quick point, just so that it will help illustrate the need for this ordinance, that in whatever was provided, did you give an example as to, through you, Madam Chair, as to what this will cure? What's out there that's causing a problem, and what is this fixing?
I believe it's also providing for costs so that the city gets, again, I did not compare it to the prior version. It's just, actually, there is no prior version of blocking sidewalks. That's right. There is not, no. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. So I know that Councilor Levy has an item that has been sent out to the city attorney for final draft and recommendation. I encouraged her for me not to take this item out, just to kind of do what I did and what I usually do, that I don't call in events. I just show up over there. If he has a meeting, I just wait and bring the items that I need more information. And he can work right in front of me, and just put it together and send it down. This is how it's working.
147 and 23 you would like?
147, yes.
That will be my priority tomorrow.
Okay.
I would appreciate it. Thank
Doesn't
you
really
so
have,
much.
doesn't really have to be priority. So make her come to you and talk to you and
It's Council Levy, it will be a priority.
You see? Thank you.
so, I will try to eliminate more work for you, but, okay? It's your office, so now I know.
Thank you,
You don't have any other items, right? Thank you very much. Councilor, before we start talking, to go to the top of the agenda, and before you forget, can I get a motion to approve the minute of May 9? Motion?
Make a motion to approve.
The minute, yeah.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Present.
The ayes have it. It was 140, the last one that he was talking was 137.23. That's correct, to order public hearing. That was the last one, yes. Okay? So we just approved the minute of May 9, and I'm going to the top of the agenda. 147.23, no parking area on Wilmot Street. Can I get a motion to send document 147.23 to 157.23 to Officer Cano, and also to table the document?
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 158 Latino Music Festival, Campanile Common, from 12 to 8 p.m., May 20.
It's already done.
Can I get a motion to send document to, for withdrawal?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? Pat, that one is for withdrawal. 158. Yeah, for withdrawal. 16023 is Sterling Baby Shower, Manchester Park, 2 to 7 p.m., June 10.
So moved.
They're not here? Do you do that?
They've been calling.
Wait, sure.
Madam Chair.
It's June 10, it's a baby shower.
That was another baby shower.
Okay,
That was another baby shower.
you know, I know, but we approved that one. So motion to send it with favor recommendation and, yeah, without recommendation? I know, but, okay, so can we get a motion to send it without, no recommendation, not without, no recommendation, and send correspondent to the applicants to be present to our next city council meeting?
So moved.
Sounds-
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Document 165, 20 minutes parking at 262 Hampshire Street, Pilon Market, 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It has been put in the agenda, of course, by me. That's going to be sent out with, it's going to be sent to Officer Cano and also to table document 165.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 166 One-Way Bond Street, Councilor Selena Reyes, that's coming, I don't know, but send it to Officer Cano, City Engineer, and also to table the document.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 167 Boyne Street, no parking from dead end to telephone pole, even side, Councilor Infante. Can I get a motion to send document 167 to Officer Cano and also to table the documents?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
168, okay, this is all a handicap. This is, we can, well, let me just do it one by one. I'm gonna take it as a block and I'm gonna read it and then we're gonna make the motion. Can I get a motion to take document 168, 169, 170, 171, and 172
So
as
moved.
a block to call the motion?
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
I do the next one as well, 140.
Aye.
In 140, what?
Next page, no?
And then the next page, 143.
No, this is table item.
Okay,
This is not a new item, that's table.
sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry.
Discussion.
Okay,
Discussion.
yes, go ahead.
One of this is in my district council, Vice President and Chair. I just want to,
That has been
68 Dorchester Street. So, 168. So I'll be paying a special attention on that one.
168, and,
Is it-
okay.
That is the one that she gonna mention
Okay,
now. You're
so
gonna
that's
talk
the
about
one
it.
I'm gonna be calling to send it to Officer Cano. So that's that. So the first one, 168, is a handicap parking at 68 Dorchester Street, apartment number 2, Roosevelt, Florida. And, the next one is handicap parking at 54 Exit Street. 170 handicap parking at 84 Bennington Street. 171 handicap parking at 27 Newton Street, and 172 handicap parking at 25 Botswood Street. Can I get a motion to send document 168, 169, 170, 171, and 172 to Officer Cano, and also to table 168, 169, 170, 171, and 172.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Discussion, okay?
So a little bit of an update on the handicap parking. The handicap parking ad hoc committee has met and has been meeting. We need to meet one more time again. And Mr. Richard Rodriguez is now part of that committee, and we're meeting with the city attorney. So just to let you know, there seems to be a fundamental, there's two tracks. One track is we've got signs in the city that have handicap parking that there's no ordinances for, and that there are, and that we need to, and that there are two different districts that are being looked at. Councilor Rodriguez's District D and my District F, and I've instructed DPW to take the ones that aren't on there, to take those signs off, and if somebody wants to put them back in for whatever reason, that they can. That's number one. Number two, there is a fundamental discussion about how are we going to proceed with handicap parking as an institution. And so there are some folks who want to continue to have it here in City Council continuing, and there's another school of thought that says we're saying yes to all these anyway. Let's have a special commission set up that will look into this and make, for example, these handicap parking permits maybe a year or two, and they have to renew themselves. That way we're able to see who's come, who's going, and those things are out. So there's discussion that's going on that. So I just wanted to make sure that the committee is aware that there is some discussions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that info. I want to be part of the last meeting. I know that Officer Kano has invited me, but unfortunately I haven't been able to attend it. I do want to, because I am concerning about the amount of handicap parking that we are approving in the city, and we are taking the space to the public, even though, you know, I can speak before I send this and close the motion. Handicap parking at 84 Bennington Street. That has been back and forth for more than 5 years. So what they did was they called Councilor Gregory del Rosario, which is not part of his district, and you know me, so I asked him, what are you doing, doing this in my district? So according to him, he got confused about it, and he didn't know that was part of my district. But the issue that we have with this is that they have 2-story garage and a space to park at least 2 or 3 cars, and is a very narrow street where they are requesting. So meaning that you are putting that person in an unsafety position when they get out of the vehicle to go to the house. And I remember back of those days that Escalon used to be the one who passed the handicap. He used to go like Officer Connor is doing the same. Check, what do they have in front and what do they have in the back. And if it was more safer in the back, he wouldn't approve it. Just because you're looking for a handicap because the person is disabled or has any, limitation. So going back to that, I do want to be part of your next meeting.
Madam Chair, this is an ad hoc committee that I've put together, and
Yeah, I know.
you are very welcome to be a part
Yeah,
of that.
no, I know. But since, ordinance, we want to make sure, I know that Officer Cano been fighting for this since the first time that he started. Officer?
Thank you. Just to address, and hopefully we're being viewed by many, that there's a lot of people with the impression that because they have a handicap placard, whether it's a plate or a placard, that they have the right to have a handicap space in front of their home. I appreciate the fact that, Council President, that that you have created an ad hoc committee, and that we're working at trying to figure a way that we can relieve the amount of work that comes to do these measurements and go to visit these folks. There should be something that's automated, and that we can then revisit those at a less inconvenient way, because it takes away from the actual ordinances that we really want to work with. On any given week, we're passing 10, 20, and I've been trying to work at catching up. But the point that I want to make here is that the handicap spaces are not exclusive to the person who's requesting it, and I get that all the time. And I explain to them, it's to whoever has a handicap placard. Just because you're requesting it doesn't mean you own that space. And that's really important for the folks to understand. And the other thing is that if you have space at home and you have a driveway, it's not, I'm not going to give you a space so you can give the resident that you're renting to the driveway. And I get that often too. And I'm sorry that you're allowing that and you're giving a space for that renter, but then what about your safety? Because the most important person for me is the disabled individual that's requesting a handicap because they need to be safe. They need to be able to get in and out of their car without being struck or their car getting damaged because it's wintertime, whether it's, someone losing control and they're not able to respond in a way that someone that is not disabled. And for me, those are concerns. So, we continue to work it. We continue to go out there and try and do the best we can and make the best judgments we can. But I really appreciate the fact that we're trying to, it's getting to the point where we're getting a lot of handicap spaces on public streets and taking away from the residents that really need it. So thank you for taking up this matter. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And going back to the item that I was just referring, 170, I'm not talking about Councilor Del Rosario. I'm talking about how constitutions going into and go around just to kind of get what they want. And this is something that unfortunately we let go for such a long time. The people feels entitled every single time they get a placard. I don't know if it is any advertiser that they say you get a placard, you get a free parking. So I don't know what it is. But anyway, so the motion has been to send it to Officer Cano and also to table all the document. Pat, you want me to repeat it to you? 170, 23 goes to Officer Cano. No, it was a whole bunch of it. 168. Uh-huh. It just read it to me to make sure that we're going to be having on the 168, 169, 170, 171, and 172 goes to Officer Cano. And also to table all the documents. And table. Yeah, okay. So motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Councilor Levy? Sure.
Instead of having all these spaces marked handicap, why is the city issuing handicap placards to these cars?
It's not the city. It's not the city who issuing the handicap plaque. Well, that's kind of, yeah, that's motor vehicle, and that's the doctor and the motor vehicle, they have to kind of work together, yeah? Yeah. Councilor Levy, you have two more items.
I got item 15722.
Can I get a motion to take document 15722 out of table?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it, yeah?
Okay, item 15722 is a new light on the pole. The number of the pole is 3110 net. So this item was submitted on May 17, and we having Officer Cannon and myself, so that they already having replaced the light and we have a phone call from the owner that still they haven't done anything inclusive. We have a request of a stop sign that is being approved since last year, I don't know,
2021?
2022.
2022, yes.
That we went over there before they moved the store from one place to the other, and we did the request, and still nothing having happened.
So just a little background on that one. The gentleman who owns four AAA Market on Howard Street, he bought the property across the street. That's a corner property, and he ended up renovating it and making into his own store where he doesn't have to pay rent anymore because he owns the property. He's ready to go. Everything, he went through the process of getting his permitting and everything. So now he needs lighting on that side. And at least a year and a half ago, he requested this. I worked with Councilor Ana Levy, and to this day, he called me this week asking if at all the light was going to be done.
Okay, so the motion have to be referred to the city, DPW director and city engineer. Those are the one handle the poles and the lights. But I think it would be easier, Councilor Levy. Can I get a motion to send document 15722 to city engineer and also to DPW director to request a new light poles on 447 Howard Street?
So moved.
Second.
Has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. And also to table the document.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The
Yeah.
ayes have it. Patty, you got that one? Okay. Table and send it to the city engineer. And the city engineer. 477, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's for a light, not for a new pole, right? Just a light. Just a light.
Okay, but then that doesn't have to go through us. That would have to go through DPW. And they make the request to the National Grid, whatever company they use.
We-
If it is gonna be,
We own the light.
Yes.
The city is the one who, we put our
yeah,
own
that's what
light.
I'm saying, like at
The pole is
DPW.
already there.
Okay, then, this is not an item that we have to work in here. Well, let's, this is something new. Let me just, send it to them, leave a table just in case to be on the safe side. I'm going to take a note myself, and I'm gonna be working with this. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. But also, we need to follow on the,
So there's another location, which is the My Family Market Ferry at Prospect Street. Same situation, where there's actually a broken light bulb,
Okay.
and there's an additional light that they're requesting for that corner, which is a four-way stop there, and there's a salon and the mini market.
Was, but I could be wrong. And I hope not, because
It's just a confusion as to what is the direction.
Yeah.
Who is responsible for
so
it?
I do not have the next item on us, not even on the table item, but if you can provide us what is the address, I can go and meet with them. I'm actually going to be having a
I
meeting with
can-
them tomorrow.
I'll be more than happy to send the email that I did from a year ago, trying to address this issue, and I'll send it to all three of you, and that way you can kind of try and help me try and get this process.
I'm sorry, also, do you remember the item for the stop sign on Howard Street too,
Yes,
on the same corner?
the same corner, yeah. For
Okay.
Howard Street, the
On
stop
Howard
sign.
Street, yes.
No, it's the, I'm sorry, it's the 15-minute parking.
It's a 15-minute parking,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, you got it.
That was in the agenda for, when we did the light, the request for the light, also the 15-minute parking was done at the same time. Yes.
So it's not in the agenda, so it could be in the,
I'm not sure.
I didn't, because it was
public
approved,
hearing
yeah.
or something like that.
It was approved at the full council. I just remember that. And I think so that we ordered the public hearing too. Yes.
If we can find the item number, I can go and talk to
Okay.
Mr. Matias and kind of try to search for the item to make sure that we got it. So any other item? None? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Thank you, Counselor.